Yeah.
Oh, they haven't. Are you ready to start?
Let's let them sit down. Yeah. Okay, my time is right. Nothing I can do about that.
Sylvia,
It won't.
7 o'clock.
Yeah. Okay. Good evening and welcome to the Verona Borough Council Workshop Meeting. I would like to call the meeting to order now. And if we could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mayor, would you like to do the roll call?
Want me to do the thing I have right here? Yeah, go ahead. The solicitor has the.
Mr. Floda.
Here.
Mr. Suchovich.
Here.
Dr. Carpenter.
Present.
Mrs. Wharf.
Present.
Mrs. Reddick Showalter.
Present.
Mrs. Provenza.
Present.
Mayor Recupero.
Present.
And Craig Alexander is also present. We have a quorum.
Okay, we did have an exec session this evening and it was in regard to personnel. Under registered comments from the public, Mr. Pepper, would you like to?
Do you want to ask
Speak.
if there's any other emergency?
Oh, right, emergency additional agenda items. Emergency.
Oh, I'm sorry. Before you speak, excuse me, any emergency additional agenda items at this time? Okay, thank you. Okay, go ahead, Jeff. I'm sorry. Back up.
Thank you. I will keep this brief. A couple things I wanted to let you know. I haven't seen them already. They're about to start. Zero cost for the borough. The signs are now covered under the borough's insurance policy. And all the paperwork is filed.
Actually gave it to Teresa. Yep.
Okay. So anyway, so I just, there's a few kind of final wrap-up things that I'd like to suggest. I believe they're on the agenda for later.
Oh.
but obviously-
Did you turn the mic
Oh,
on?
I'm sorry.
Could you please turn it on? There's a switch there.
How's that?
Much better, thank you.
Okay, good, thanks. Anyway, so there are a few wrap-up tasks that I believe they're on the agenda for later, but I just want to go over them now, in case you have any questions for me. So there's three things. They're all pretty small. The one is the back of the signs, you probably noticed, it's kind of a mustard color, not the most attractive thing in the world. And so as you leave Verona from either direction, you kind of see this mustardy thing. So the first thing is, it'd be nice if the Public Works Department could paint the backs of those signs like a dark brown or something, so they wouldn't be so obvious. Something. The second thing is I talked to Wade Gouger about putting an uplight at the base of the sign on the south end of town, on the Pittsburgh side. And he came up with a quote. These are just copies of the quote from the electrician. So it's $1,700 for everything, labor and materials. And I don't know what the budget situation is for the borough, but I think it would look great as you come in from on Alameda River Boulevard to see that sign lit up. So we have electricity on that side. We don't have electricity on the Oakmont side. So it would not be practical to put any. And then the third thing is I spoke with Kimberly Roller from the Garden Club, and she and her club are happy to do some landscaping on the Oakmont side sign, some perennial grasses and things like that. Again, no charge to the borough for that either, but she needs your approval. So that's it. Those are the three things. If anybody has any questions, happy to answer.
Yeah, I have a good question. We had a chamber meeting the other night. The signs do look good and all the chamber agreed, but there was a couple of issues. The back of the signs, like you said, with all the screw holes and nuts and bolts, that looks like heck.
Yeah.
For the money that the chamber did donate, for the new signs also. But we kind of felt that should have been enclosed in or something by the company for that kind of money. And also, wasn't it in the quote that, we talked about, the chamber that is having aluminum posts and they're wooden posts.
First of all, on the appearance of the back of the sign, I agree, it doesn't look great. And I was sort of surprised when I saw that as well.
It was, yeah,
Yeah.
we were all disappointed
Yeah,
the way it looks. It looks
When I
terrible.
saw it, it was like the day before they installed it. It was too late to do anything about it. So there are a few things. I think that the easiest thing, like I say, is just to paint them, put a dark color on the back, which would make those little bolts disappear. As far as doing something else, like putting a backing sign, I talked to the sign company. They can do that. They can put a matching sign on the back. But, again, we're talking some money for that. So,
You would have think for, like I said, once again, for the money, they would have just put a plain, back and painted the back of it.
yeah, I agree. So I guess my suggestion is just have AJ's guys put a coat of paint on it, and that should take care of it. As far as the posts go, this has been going for a year and a half, and I've forgotten some of the details. I believe I spoke with PennDOT, and they said that they either needed to be breakaway. They either needed to be wooden posts with holes drilled through them, so they would break away on impact, or they had to be aluminum posts with more complicated brackets. I believe for pricing reasons, we went with the wooden posts. So that was sort of a decision made for that reason. Right now, they're kind of light colored because the wood is new. I'm thinking that in 6 months or a year, when the wood is dried out, we can stain them in dark color, and they should be less obvious.
I have a question in reference to Mayor's question. I guess I thought that the estimate for the price of the signs, did that include it to have the aluminum posts instead of the wood? Did the price change because it's wood? I mean, I don't know which is more or less expensive.
Nancy, I have to go back and look at all the correspondence. I believe that the proposal that we signed off on had the wooden post in it. I'll go back and check.
Okay, well, that's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if that's not true, then obviously I'll go back to them
Yeah.
and see if I'm getting a refund. But
That's fine.
I'm pretty sure that by the time we settled on a price, the posts were wood at that point.
Okay, and when, in item number 3, the garden club to landscape, do you mean the one on the Oakmont side? for
Yes.
the Landscape?
So I spoke
So
with Kimberly,
dangerous,
and I'm not clear on all the details here, but Kimberly says that the sign on the south side, which is on the Pittsburgh side,
Mhm.
that island is under the maintenance agreement with,
Penn Hills.
no, there's
Resnick
landscaping
Landscape.
company.
Oh, Resnick.
Our landscaper.
Yeah.
They're
And so-
contracted to take care of that land.
Yeah, right. And so Kimberly didn't want to overstep her mission on that side. So, I think some landscaping would be good on that side too, but, council would have to talk to the landscaping company about that.
I just hope they can landscape the Oakmont side safely, because it's kind of right there.
Yeah, when the installation was done a couple of weeks ago, the borough police car was there and blocking traffic.
Oh,
Yeah, and they would do that again for the landscaping
great,
project.
wonderful, thank you.
David, wasn't there electricity
There's one electricity over
where the
here.
pylons?
Yes,
Yeah.
and we
So-
did have that lit the other side.
Oh, yeah, but is it still working or no? It's not working
The
anymore?
bulb maybe burned out.
Oh, but it's still, okay,
There is power to
Okay.
that out on the south end.
where the pylons are?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah, oh,
yes.
okay. That's why I was confused why you had this estimate. That's all.
Thank you.
Great, thanks.
Thanks, Jeff. They look really nice.
Great, thank
Yeah,
you.
they do.
Thank you, Mr. Pepper, and for your comments, and we'll discuss later under the discussion items.
If any questions come up, Trish has my cell phone.
Okay, good, thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay, next we have Tammy and John Cox.
Good evening. My
Uh,
question
Could you,
is,
excuse me, could you state your
oh, I'm
name and
sorry.
address, please?
I'm John Cox.
Thank you.
And your address?
I'm at 120, my home address is 127 Dolores Drive in Irwin.
Thank you.
What's your property owner here in Verona?
Yeah, I have properties here in Verona. That's actually why we're down here. We're having some issues with the garbage. County hauling, they keep saying that the borough has assumed all the billing or the responsibility for county hauling. Is this true?
Not yet.
Well, go ahead and give your comments and we'll respond to them after that.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, we've received some bills for some different rental properties that I own in the area. And these bills have come from like 2019, 2020, that the tenant has not kept up with payment of them. And they are now 3 years later sending us bills for these. And, you know, if they let us know 3 months down the line or 6 months down the line, you know, we can get the tenant. These are properties that tenants have came and left. And they're telling us we're responsible for these bills. And my wife has spent hours and hours on the phone with these people trying to get this resolved with no help. And that's why we're here this evening, to hopefully see if we can get some help or some answers, you know, from you guys.
Sure. So let me say this, the borough has not taken over the billing from county hauling. They are in discussions to do that, but it hasn't been finalized. They did vote last month to take over the billing if things are finalized with county hauling. We're waiting to see what sort of concessions county hauling is willing to give to the borough to take on that responsibility. We're taking on part of their work, basically. So they will have to reduce their fee in some form or percentage, because we're going to have to pay somebody else to do that work for us here in Verona. And when that happens, I can tell you that we've already passed legislation that says that it is the owner's responsibility to pay the garbage fee when Verona takes it over. Tenants skip out on landlords all the time, and landlords get left holding the bag. They do it with water, they do it with everything, unfortunately. And I don't know if there's a way to build those fees into the lease, into the rent that you charge, but that's going to be the owner's responsibility for sure when this borough takes it over. With regard to county hauling, that's a dispute, a private property dispute between you and county hauling. I know that their customer service person, I believe, is a lady named Christine Murtaugh. I don't know if you've been in discussions with her.
No, I have not, and that's kind of why I'm here.
Ma'am, just please state your name for the minutes.
I'm Tammy Cox, and I'm the one who really deals with this. It's just that I prefer that he spoke. But I have tried for the last several months. I've contacted county hauling, I don't know how many times. And this last time was about a week ago. And account numbers that they send me bills for do not exist anymore. The tenant gets a bill, and most of my tenants have lived there for 5+ years. So it's not tenants are moving
Sure.
out is the issue.
I do know this, that our former borough secretary, Christine DeRunk, was very on top of this with county hauling. And she, I'm certain, sent them an updated owner list, and I believe to the extent that she was aware, tenant list. So they said that their records were as updated as possible. So unfortunately, you caught us at a bad time because we're without our office management person, the borough secretary, the borough manager, whatever the case may be. We're in the process of getting a new leadership role in there at this time. So hopefully we'll take a look at it. I know there are a couple council members that are helping out in the office, and we do have an administrative assistant. So we'll, to the best we can, we'll get in touch with County Hauling. But if I were you, I'd reach out to that Christine Murdaugh and see how she can help you guys as well. But we
I
will look
can
into
call
it.
her directly. Do you
Oh,
have a
absolutely.
number?
I-
Because most of the staff that I've
Yeah, we-
spoken
once you
with,
speak to a supervisor or manager,
they hang up on you. They don't, I mean, there's a
have
lot of
I have your
issues.
contact information, and
Okay.
I will email you tomorrow her email address.
I appreciate that, and I'll take it from there. I just need someone that's willing to work with me because they have 2 accounts for the same address.
Sure.
I mean, the list is endless, the incorrect information that is
We
there.
appreciate you bringing it before council. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
And just one more thing, on their part, that's, that's very negligent to contact the property owner for something 3 years gone by on their part. So you may want to consider, well, you would be taking over the building.
Right,
I guess their garbage pickup is okay, or you wouldn't even consider that.
right.
But I know in Penn Hills, they include the garbage in your taxes. So they don't have garbage bills. Actually, it's on,
There was,
the homeowner.
I happen to also represent Penn Hills, and they're one of the few municipalities that still have in-house garbage collection. So you're right. Most municipalities do not have that. It's a big burden on the taxpayers, and most municipalities contract that service out to third parties.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. and Mrs.
Thank you.
Cox, for your comments. Comments now from the public on agenda-related items. only.
I forgot number
Right.
3.
Is Rhea here?
Oh, Rhea, I apologize. Rhea Homa.
We don't have a Zoom,
Yeah,
so
we
she
don't
might
have
not be here.
She is here.
Oh,
I'm
We
here.
just can't see her.
Okay, I didn't know.
Hi, Rhea.
Hi there. May I have the ability to screen share, please? I know that not everybody will be able to see it, but those that have screens in front of them will be
There
able
you
to share.
go.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. My name's Rhea Homa, 742 Brunot Street.
Hey, Rhea, hold on a second.
Slideshow. Okay,
Ray and Sylvia, you guys want to come and look at this and see what she's doing, and maybe Rhoda and the manager chair, if you have this on, Trish, do you have it on? Oh, I just wanted to give, sorry to the audience, unless you want to sign in on your phone or something. There's nothing we can do. We're gonna fix it before the next meeting, I hope. The screen up there. Go ahead, Ray, sorry.
great. Thank you very much. So Rhea Homa, 742 Brunot Street. I just like to share a quick presentation about the green space at Selden Avenue. I apologize that I didn't get information emailed out to all of you about the project like I had intended. I've been waiting on receiving estimates and more information from contractors, even up until today. So I wanted to start off by reviewing our project. Sea Green Sustainability Group has been working to establish a native wildflower area and grasses on the Shaley Hill side on Selden Avenue surrounding the Veterans Mural. After consulting with a local conservation planner and a geologist, we prepped the site by weed whacking and laying plastic on the area to kill off weeds. We created a few pockets of soil where we planted some plugs, and we sowed seeds and an annual rye cover crop in October of last year. We also installed burlap blanket to mitigate erosion while seeds germinated and our plants grew. In June and September, we had our conservation planner and a horticulturist who specializes in native plants assess the site. They reported that the blooms were on target since October's planting. And if you travel past, you can see black-eyed Susans and partridge peas growing in along the hillside. Of course, there's many growing at the base of the hill where seeds slid down the hill. And next year, all types of flowers that we seeded last year should be blooming, including asters and coneflowers. The professionals also assessed the plants growing on the site that we did not plant, otherwise known as weeds. We were recommended to balance weeding and erosion control by removing aggressive weeds and allowing less aggressive plants to grow, which would continue to hold the hillside while the plants that we sowed are still taking root. We have done this and we're still doing this as well. The conservation planner and horticulturist provided a few recommendations that we provide further stabilization of the hillside and add materials that will promote water and nutrient retention. They recommended applying a flexible growing medium, some fertilizer, and possibly organic matter in addition to expanding the color palette of the flowers on site. Initially, last year, whenever we were talking about this project, we were hoping to make the hillside a yellow and purple celebration of Verona. However, these professionals are now recommending that we expand our color palette to include plants that may be better suited for this challenging site. This would include flowers that are white and pink and some blue, I guess. Time-wise, we would need to purchase our native seed mix this fall so that we can stratify the seeds, which means that we would store the seeds in a moist and cool conditions to mimic a natural winter and break their dormancy so that they'll be ready to germinate in the spring whenever warm weather comes. Seeding, adding fertilizer, and flexible growth medium can happen either this fall if council provides permission, or it could wait until next spring. I wanted to share some quick info about Flexterra, which is likely the product that we want to be applying, which is the flexible growing medium. If you've passed a recent construction site with a steep hill colored in like a weird minty green color, you've seen an example of a product like what we would be adding to this hillside. The material is applied with a hydraulic sprayer and optimizes water and nutrient retention while controlling erosion as well. Flexterra is 100% biodegradable and non-toxic and should hold things in place for 18 months before it biodegrades. So I'm presenting this information to you today, ideally with two requests. At minimum, I would like permission to expand the color palette to include white and pink flowers that may be better suited for the challenges of this site. And ideally, I would also like permission to hydroseed the area with a flexible growing medium like Flexterra this fall or in spring of 2023, based on how quickly we can secure funding. We would be hiring a certified hydroseeding contractor to apply the materials. The rough cost of this project ranges between $600 and $700, and we would be seeking funding through mini grants, like maybe the Earth Volunteer Fund, which we would be applying for if we get permission, or direct donations, which we have done in the past. That's all of my information. Thank you for your time and hope that we can continue to work on this project with council approval.
Thank you for your comments, Rhea. Very, very nice presentation.
Thank you. So I would, again, I'm requesting permission to expand the color palette. That's the first order of business. And then the second one would be, do we actually have permission to move forward and hydroseed with a flexible growing material?
Should we talk about that now or later?
Is it on the agenda for later?
No,
No.
I'm just on the agenda for the public, for the registered.
It's
comment.
not on as an action item.
Well, it's not costing the borough anything. Do we really need to make a motion about it? Just say we're okay with it? Is anybody not okay with? the
I'm okay with
request?
I'm very okay with it.
Yeah,
Hillside, I'll make it look nice.
it's gonna look green for a little while. You know,
Oh, that's all right.
for that hydro seal stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
all
great.
good with it.
We're all in favor?
Yes,
And as long as
definitely.
we make sure that they know they're not allowed to solicit donations.
Not, from, what do you mean?
She said that they got direct donations in the past. That's fine. They can't solicit donations.
I can't hear you. You guys gotta speak up if I'm gonna catch this on the
I
minutes.
said, as long as they're aware, they're not allowed to solicit for donations. They can accept donations, but they can't ask for them.
Why is that?
I believe that you need a right to solicit permit in the state of Pennsylvania.
Game's a chance.
And since they're an entity of Parks and Rec, they fall under the borough, and the borough is not allowed to solicit for donations.
If somebody would give them money and they can take that.
They're just not allowed to ask for it,
What about grants?
but that would have to go through the borough also. That's why she asked if they had permission to apply for a grant. It's normally Christine would handle
The grant,
I-
any grant writing would come through the borough.
I actually would rather apply for the grant personally. Just as a citizen, if that's possible.
I don't know. I just don't know how you do that. If the money's coming to the borough, it would have to be through the borough.
Is she part of the Flower and Garden Club?
No,
Oh, okay,
she's part of Sea Green, which is a committee of Parks and Rec.
okay. Well, you have a 501c3 though, right?
Parks and Rec doesn't.
Means
Parks and Rec is a
I
board
mean, your
underneath
other
the borough.
organization, yeah.
Yeah, we're an athletic foundation. We have a 5.
I thought
Yeah,
she would be going through that.
I could partner with a 501c3 if that's preferred.
The garden club has a 501c3.
I mean, if you already have
correct?
one.
The garden club would probably be my recommendation. If they need a 501 to write a grant or
Okay.
solicit donations, they can do both of those.
All right.
I mean, we have the resources. I mean, I hate to discourage her from doing.
No, I just wanted to make sure it was
Yeah.
done on the up and up.
Right,
like,
right. Well,
I don't want the
sure,
borough to get in trouble for listening
Sure,
donations.
sure.
Did you catch all that, Raya?
Yeah, I did. So as long as I go through a different 501c3 to get the grant, and if I do not request for direct donations, that's okay.
That's
I
what
believe so. I mean,
Okay.
Greg can clarify, but I believe that's how it should be.
Yeah, but I'm still having a tough time on a citizen applying for a grant for a borough project.
I'll go through a 501c3 associated with Verona instead of doing it as a resident, if that's preferred.
Okay, thanks, Rhea.
Sure. Okay, great. So I have permission to change the color palette as well as add flexible growing medium, correct?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you for
Yes.
the
Thank you,
comments,
Rhea.
Rhea.
For your energy, oh my gosh.
Thanks.
Thank you for the work. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yes.
You're welcome. Thanks.
We'll now take comments from the public on agenda-related items only.
Agenda-related items.
Keep going, keep reading.
Okay, council will hear comments from the public at this time on agenda-related items only. Please approach the podium and raise your right virtual hand. Clearly state your name and address and limit your comments to 3 minutes.
No, nobody physically present
Okay,
I don't see any.
and
hands
nobody
up.
on Zoom.
no. Okay. Next would be discussion items from advisory boards and commissions. And
There
I
are
see
none today.
none here. Next, we're into new business, action items needed for timeliness or urgency. We need a motion to accept the resignation of council member Joey Warren.
I'll make that motion
I'll
to
second.
accept his resignation.
I'll
Okay,
second.
okay. Rhoda's made the motion. Nancy has seconded. All in favor? Please say
Any
yes.
discussion on the motion?
Okay, is there any discussion on the motion?
Thank you for your service.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you
Thanks,
very
Joey.
much, Joey, for your time and service.
You made a difference.
Yes. Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you.
Any
The
oppo-
motion-
any opposed?
Anyone opposed to the motion?
Motion carries 6-0.
Okay, motion passed. Okay, thank you again, Joey. Appreciate you. Okay, we now have one council vacancy on the board. And No, we've no.
I have a question first. Have we ever appointed somebody to replace Nancy on the what were you, vacancy board?
You have not. She resigned last month, so
Should we do
Nobody's-
that also?
can.
I mean,
But
I think it's a needed position.
I think you stick to the agenda first, but
Yeah. I just wanted to bring it up.
yeah,
Okay. Maybe we can fit that in later. Thank you,
No,
Vince.
We can't just throw something on the agenda though, can we?
what's that?
We can't just put something on the agenda.
If they want to add it, I mean, there's no urgency to fill the vacancy chair vacancy right now, but I mean, we can do that next month if we wanted to.
I'm just reminding everybody, we don't have
Right.
have
Right.
somebody in the vacancy.
Thank you,
So we don't
Vince.
forget about it.
Okay, next thing on the agenda, we have one council seat vacancy. And the question is, shall we do the nomination now or advertise and do it at the next meeting?
I make a motion, we do it now.
Second.
Well, with that being said,
We have a motion.
okay,
There's a motion on the floor in a second to
Okay,
take nominations now.
all right, we'll take nominations now.
No, wait a minute. We have a motion in a second. Isn't there time for discussion
Discussion.
now?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
see, I thought we were gonna give the opportunity to other people that may be interested to advertise it again. But I evidently, more people feel that we don't need to advertise it again.
I've talked to many people in the community who were surprised with the second vacancy because the last meeting we were here, Joey was here. He was running the meeting. The article in the Trib said his date of resignation was undetermined. And so people in the community, as far as I know, were fairly confused, like they didn't even know there was a vacancy. So maybe there's some people out there who are interested in the vacancy and
I could
didn't
be
have an
wrong.
opportunity.
But I think Joey announced at the last meeting that was gonna be his last
He
meeting.
said that after the meeting to us.
Okay.
He didn't say it publicly.
You know, I think that the problem was, it was misrepresented from the beginning in an article. You know, they had, disclosed there was going to be like 2 vacancies, when really at that time, there weren't 2 vacancies. So I think a lot of people got confused with that information.
Right.
It actually says in the article, Warren's date is to be determined as he has agreed to help the council transition into new leadership before officially vacating his position. So that was very vague, and it sounded like he was going to be on council for a while. So I think people with that and nothing posted on the website, because quite honestly, I'm not sure I would know how to do that, and we didn't really ask Teresa to do that. And nothing on Facebook page. People who aren't friends of the people in this room do not know,
That's right.
did not know that this vacancy existed.
I think everybody knew it was happening.
Everybody, I've talked to several people and said, what do you mean? He's not coming to the meeting. He's not going to be on council.
I think there may have been some confusion the way it shook out, but I actually was surprised because I think 6 applications was more than, or at least the same as what we had for both the resignations last year. So I was actually thrilled to see so many interested applicants. I personally haven't heard about anyone else interested who hadn't submitted the letter. I know, actually, I think there were 7 because we had at least one person who had applied initially after the deadline for the first round. So I think if anyone out there really wanted to, they probably would have followed a similar course and just went ahead and sent a letter in. Of course, there's nothing in the borough code, solicitor, correct me if I'm wrong, that says we even have to have letters submitted or a period of time. We're free to.
Right.
Oh, he just sent
That
this.
is correct.
He just sent this, so that's
Yeah.
fine. I just thought that, just to be courteous, to give other people an opportunity. If the majority don't feel that way, that's fine.
I mean, I honestly think that if people are looking to fill the position,
Mhm.
then they should have already been attending council meetings.
Mhm.
They should already know what's going on.
True.
If they don't know what's going on and they haven't been attending council meetings, do they belong on council?
And normally I would agree with you, Rhoda, about wanting to, include
Expand.
everyone, but given the current circumstances of not having our staff and having to get through our budget and contracts, I'm very eager to have someone. fill
Oh,
in.
yeah, I don't have a problem.
Yeah, we're short everywhere, so we need to start filling this.
So there's a motion and a second to fill the vacancy presently.
Yes.
So
So all
Well,
in
so
favor?
you taking nominations, because with that,
No,
all
no,
this
let's
being
vote on the
said.
no,
motion.
we have a
Okay,
motion
okay,
whether
finish
to
the
do it.
motion. Okay, go ahead.
Shall we do it individually?
Just ask.
Do the all in favor to do it now.
Okay, all in favor of doing the filling today?
Aye.
Aye.
I don't, yeah.
Opposed?
I'm opposed.
Motion carries 5 to
Wait
1.
a minute, we're not, did you vote?
Yeah.
She said aye.
It's fine, it's fine.
Okay, well then.
With that being said, you're taking motions?
So your nominations.
I
will
mean
be in order.
nominations?
Nominations will now be in order.
Okay, I nominate Angela Capini.
Okay,
I nominate Red Craig, Phil Craig.
Nominate them all.
do we have any other nominations?
If nominations are closed.
Okay, nominations are now closed.
So we will vote on this the same way that we agreed to vote on it at last month, and that is that every person nominated will get an up or down vote. If one of the candidates gets a majority of the votes cast, and a majority of 6 is for, unless somebody chooses to abstain, and that will dilute it. But somebody needs to get 4 votes on the floor to win. If it's a tie, then it'll be held until all the nominations are voted on, and then the mayor will proceed to break any tie. If somebody does not get at least 3 votes to move on, then they will be done. Those are the same rules that we went by last month, and those are the same rules we'll go by this month. So the first person nominated is Angela. Do you accept the nomination? Okay, and I'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Floda?
No.
Mr. Suchovich?
No,
Dr. Carpenter?
Yes.
Mrs. Wharf?
Yes,
Mrs. Regit Trollwater?
No.
Mrs. Provenza?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 3-3 tie for Angela. Next is Bill Craig, Mr. Floda,
Yes.
Mr. Suchovich,
yes,
Dr. Carpenter,
No.
Mrs. Wharf,
no,
Ms. Rezick Showalter,
Yes.
Mrs. Provenza. 3-3 tie. And Tim Long, Mr. Floda,
Yes.
Mr. Suchovich,
yes,
Dr. Carpenter,
No.
Mrs. Wharf,
no,
Ms. Redzick Showalter,
Yes.
and Mrs. Provenza.
No,
3-3 tie. So we have 3 candidates, Mayor, all of whom are tied at 3 votes. So 4th vote for one of the candidates would put that person ahead.
3, 3, and 3. So at the last meeting, I did have a second choice, and I'm going to stick with my second choice, and that would be Mr. Craig.
Mayor votes for William Craig. That gives him 4 votes. Congratulations, Mr. Craig. You will need to sign an affidavit of residency that states that you've been a resident of the borough of Trafford continuously for the last.
Verona.
What did I say?
Trafford.
What did you move? Please forgive me.
Tell us you're from Trafford.
I was going to say, did you say you live here?
This isn't my normal meeting night. I'm sorry.
congratulations, Red, congratulations.
congratulations.
Good to have you, Greg.
Absolutely.
This is your affidavit of residency. Blue pen, if you don't mind.
It's a legal thing.
It's very solemn there. Thank you. And if you don't mind signing your oath of office that the mayor will administer to you in due course. Mayor will administer your oath. If you want to follow along with that one.
Do you guys want to bring that mic over so people on Zoom can hear you? Thanks.
Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, William Craig,
Have been appointed to the vacancy position of council member for the Borough of Verona.
having been appointed to the vacant position of council member for the Borough of Verona,
Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support,
do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support,
obey, and defend
obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
and I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Red.
You'll take a long
Have a
walk.
Join the crowd.
You could give the mayor your, oath. Okay.
Oh, here. That's Sylvia's seat.
Okay,
This is your stuff here.
okay.
Okay, I'm now going to turn the meeting over to Mayor David Recupero.
The mayor doesn't
For the,
preside
uh,
over
We're
reorganization.
now going to reorganize.
Yeah, only at the mandatory reorganization every other year.
Well, I did research and found out other facts and found out that if someone from the council is running the reorganization, that they cannot nominate, they cannot vote.
Okay.
And therefore the mayor should do the reorganization.
Okay, I'm going to disagree with that because Seven Springs tells you differently that the president of council is allowed to do that. And you make your own parliamentary rules. Robert's Rules of Order is a template. So, I mean, if council wants the mayor to do it, I'm just telling you that the way that the borough code reads is the mayor presides over a reorg every other year. And that council can reorganize anytime they want. And I'm not going to sit here and say that you can't nominate whoever you want to, because I believe you can nominate whoever you want to.
So if Sylvia, I mean,
Nominate whoever you want. Put the nominations on the floor. Yes,
and she can vote.
absolutely.
So I just thought, well, the mayor has more experience running a reorg meeting as well, so. whatever. Are you comfortable doing this, Sylvia? Okay.
Okay, well, we're going to start with nomination for president of council, but I wanted to make a comment before we get into the voting here of president and vice president. This is not just a title or a role. There are many, many, many facets, many, many things that people have to know how to do as a president or a vice president. There are things that I'm just going to say a few. You have payroll and 457 plan. We have the 2023 budget. We have capital improvement plan coming up. Keystone Collections Group that we're going to have to work with. Vacant property database and letters and posting and websites that have to be taken care of. Police, CBA, ARPA reporting, website development, P cards, dealing with glass recycling, with police, MMO, and escrow accounts for fire insurance. And that list goes on and on and on. This is a very responsible job. So I think we really need to think very seriously who we're going to pick to help run this town. It's not just sitting up here with a nameplate or a title or both. This is a very important job. And I'd ask that you really, really think long and hard before you make your decisions. And I thank you.
The nominations for council president would be in order.
Making motions,
Nominations.
a nomination. I keep saying motions. I nominate Nancy Carpenter for president. She has the experience and she was very helpful before last year.
Yes.
Without-
I nominate Ray Suchovich for president.
Are there any other nominations? The nominations are closed.
Shall we do a roll call?
So let's vote on Nancy. Mr. Floda,
No.
Mr. Suchovich,
No,
Dr. Carpenter,
Yes.
Mrs. Worf,
Yes,
Ms. Redzick Showalter,
No.
Mrs. Provenza.
Yes,
That's 3-3.
Wait, we have one more council member.
Did I miss one?
yes.
I'm on the phone in traffic.
You're not on my list.
I'm thinking he's figuring since you
Forgotten
made the
already.
nomination, you're gonna vote yes. But
I shouldn't have come. Mr. Craig,
No.
what a great name.
No.
good.
Okay, that motion fails 3-4. Ray Suchovich, Mr. Floda,
yes.
Mr. Suchovich,
Yes,
Dr. Carpenter,
No.
Mrs. Worf,
no,
Ms. Redzick Showalter,
Yes.
Mrs. Provenza.
No.
And Mr. Craig,
Yes.
and that is 4-3 in favor. Mr. Suchovich is the new council president.
Congratulations.
thank you.
Next would be nominations for vice president.
I'll nominate Trish Redzick Showalter.
Are there any other nominations?
I'll nominate Nancy Carpenter.
Any other nominations? Let's vote on Ms. Redzick Showalter first. Mr. Floda,
Yes.
Mr. Suchovich,
Yes,
Dr. Carpenter,
No.
Mrs. Worf,
no,
Ms. Redzick Showalter,
Yes.
Mr. Craig, Mrs. Provenza.
No.
And Mr. Craig.
Yes.
That's 4 in favor of Trish and 3 against. So that motion carries. We don't get to the next vote. So Trish, you're vice president. Welcome.
Congratulations.
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 Okay.
I guess we should.
Would you like
Which
to?
Do you have to pick
positions?
pro temp, or should we pick pro temp, or just so we say pro temp?
It's up to you guys if you want to appoint a permanent pro temp.
Can we do that under this agenda?
Absolutely. It's a reorganization. Sure you can.
And I make a motion, we pick a pro temp.
Let's go.
Nominations?
I'll nominate Sylvia.
Are there any other nominations?
I'll nominate Vince Floda.
Are there any other nominations? Sylvia,
Wait
for-
a second, I got a question. This float is already on council.
so is Sylvia.
Can they still be a pro temp?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Or you could pick somebody. from
I
the
meant
public.
both of them, not just.
No,
them.
that's for the vacancy board. They have to be
Yeah, you're
from
thinking
the
vacancy.
public for the vacancy board.
I
I'm
was
sorry?
thinking of something different.
So we're voting on a pro temp and we're voting on Sylvia. Mr. Floda,
No.
Mr. Suchovich,
No,
Dr. Carpenter,
Yes.
Mrs. Wharf,
Yes,
Ms. Redzick Showalter, Mrs. Provenza,
Yes.
and Mr. Craig.
no.
Motion fails 3-4. And the second one was Vince, correct?
Yep.
Mr. Floda,
Yes.
Mr. Suchovich,
Yes,
Dr. Carpenter,
No.
Mrs. Wharf,
no,
Ms. Redzick Showalter,
Yes.
Mrs. Provenza, Mr. Craig.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-3. This will be the pro tem if we need him for the remainder of the year.
Let's hope not. I'm hoping for everything to run smooth.
Ray, do you want to run the meeting from your council seat there, or do you want to switch with Sylvia?
I'll be happy to do it right here
Go ahead.
for not tonight.
okay, may I bring something up too? Since you're president, payroll is due tomorrow. So you might
Payroll's
want,
done.
pardon, I mean, not the payroll, bookminders. So you may want to connect with some of the people. I have the card that you can meet with them at 12 o'clock tomorrow. Take care of that. You know what? She comes at 12, but you may want to just make another appointment with her.
I'll
You know, what I
give
mean,
her-
to your convenience, because you said you work too, so.
Yeah, I should be home by 12, but
Okay, well, you have to be here.
yeah,
Okay.
well,
good.
yeah, right.
Very good.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Next on the new business, motion to update the bank signatures. I'm wondering if we couldn't put that off until we get a borough manager.
I'm fine with
And the reason I'm saying that is because Rhoda, David, and myself are able to sign cards. And it's a lot of running back and forth and people in and out. What's everybody's thought on that?
We just did that, correct?
No, I'd like my name off that account.
Okay,
So I will do that tomorrow, to be off the account. And maybe, you know, Vince or Trish could go on, or even Red. I mean, someone.
well, we'll have to get a hold of what's her name up there and get new things made.
Right, I can't remember her name, but we can call up and see. Because I think it's important that the, you know, officers are on that, not just, you know, council members.
Well, the finance committee also is part of that, correct? We do,
Could be, yeah, it could be, sure.
Weren't you ahead of the finance committee?
No,
Joey was,
Joey.
Joey
we
was.
gotta redo all that.
yeah, you have to redo that.
Do we want to, does anybody want to be a signatory on the account that's able to? Rhoda wants to step down, right?
I will, I'm gonna step down, yeah.
Does anybody want to replace Rhoda as a signatory?
I'm happy to, unless someone else.
So that would be,
I mean, I can be it because I'm available during the day.
Either or is fine with me.
We need 4 people if we're gonna change it.
Both.
how many do you have right now?
Three.
Well, with Rhoda going off, that'd make 2.
Mhm.
So you have 2 coming on.
Well, if Trish gets on, then it'll be you, Trish, and eventually the new manager.
Right,
And then David was on it too.
so I would suggest putting 1 council person on. I would suggest putting 1 council person on and just wait till we get a borough manager. Take Rhoda off like she requests,
Mhm,
if
Put Rhoda
everybody's
on.
okay with that.
absolutely.
Good?
I think it's best to be someone who's an officer. I would
That's
think
why I
that-
thought it was more, and I
Trish.
propose to have, you know, someone that's,
Okay,
So motion to add Trish as a bank signatory
motion,
Right.
yeah.
and on
absolutely,
Rhoda's stepping down.
yes. And also, when you reorganize the committees, Ray.
Yeah.
I would like to be off the finance.
Okay,
I'd like that noted also.
Do we have a motion on the floor?
Yeah, a motion is to update the bank signatories and add Trish.
Who made the motion?
Nobody's made it yet.
Oh, I could, you need a motion?
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we put Trish on the account.
Second,
President. It's supposed to make sense.
I'm saying I'm asking for a second.
Second.
Second by Red Craig. Any questions? All in favor?
I,
All against? Pass. Next thing we have is a motion to adopt the active transportation plan.
And I did prepare a resolution to adopt the transportation plan. So it'd be a motion to approve the resolution adopting the active transportation plan.
I don't have a resolution. I don't.
It was
Yeah,
forwarded,
it's
Teresa.
it's in our.
Oh, it's in the staple one.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Who was second?
I think Sylvia.
I would.
Motion and second. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Against? Pass. That's all the action items that we have. We'll go into discussion items now. The borough manager hiring process is number one. We had an exec session before the meeting tonight. And we went over, we had, how many applicants? 7 applicants, I believe, and 8. And we went over them and whittled away. And we're gonna have Teresa get a hold of the ones that we want to talk to and interview and try to get an interview session in Thursday evening. So that's where that stands with the hiring process. Anybody have any questions on that? Number 2, the PMRS and the police MMO worksheets. Craig, would you be able to explain this a little bit,
Sure, the
please?
MMO stands for minimum municipal obligation, and it's an amount that we owe, which is reimbursed by the state. Our MMO, it appears, for the non-uniform employees, which is the PMRS, appears to be 0. Which is great. The MMO for the police is $54,849. And my understanding is this, these MMOs need to be forwarded to the state by the end of this month, which is Friday. I guess technically October 3rd, which is Monday, but we're gonna send them off, make sure they get them by September 30th. I really think you ought to have a motion to adopt these worksheets, just so that we can have that in the letter that we send off to the MMO folks.
I'll make a motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt the MMO worksheets, first by Red, second by Vince. Any questions? All in favor? Against? Passed.
So I'll get with Teresa and we'll figure out how to get these sent off.
Next thing on the agenda, on the discussion items, is a set amount for the health and safety. We got to discuss what we're going to do there.
I don't have my notes in front of me, but I was in favor of starting on the lower end since it's a new fee for rolling out. I know we all had some mixed feelings about it.
I agree.
I thought we already had agreed to like $5.
Something very.
Well, it was like 5, 7, 8. I mean, it just went right up.
Right.
So we can always start low.
Do you want to put a number of $5 on the agenda for the regular October business meeting?
Is this per quarter?
It's per month.
Per month.
Everybody okay with that?
Everybody okay with $5?
Mhm.
Put it on the agenda.
So you're saying put it on the agenda to make
Pass
an
to the
official
business
motion?
meeting.
Correct.
Now, have we actually said, now, did we actually with Christine, I forgot, I thought she had mentioned something. They are in total agreement for doing this. correct?
Keystone?
Yeah,
I believe so. I don't know what they're charging.
yeah, but I wasn't sure. I thought she had finalized that and they said, yes, we'll do it. And that they were waiting for us to decide on the fee to add to the bill. So I don't know if we have any actual paperwork.
Well, what's the fee gonna be for Keystone to collect this money?
It's gonna be for the borough, for things that, you know, we, for example, when there's garbage that needs to be cleaned up, we have to pay our maintenance people to clean it up on private,
So-
let's say garbage on private property, things of that nature.
So
Exterminating, yeah, go ahead.
Christine does have in her project status report that she's forwarded to all of us.
Explaining it, yeah.
The
explaining it.
health and, what the health and safety fee is one of the items in there. It says that the ordinance was advertised. It was placed on the September business meeting for adoption. Things that are needed to see this through, pass the ordinance, which we've done. It says signed and sent to E-code as a new law. I'm sure that that has not been done, but it's already, it's a formal ordinance regardless of whether it's sent to E-code, but we need to follow up with that.
True, true.
Resolution setting a fee on a revised comprehensive fee schedule. Well, it sounds like we just agreed on what that fee would be, and we'll update the fee schedule by resolution in October. Communication plan to inform owners that the garbage bills will be in their names per the current ordinance, and to inform all households that they will no longer be paying county hauling directly instead, and will be billed quarterly by a billing agency, Keystone. Renegotiate the contract with county hauling to move the borough being billed instead of individual residents. County hauling should be willing to at last, this, I think she means at least discuss the possibility of decreasing the monthly cost as they no longer bill and the borough will not be delinquent. Work with Keystone to figure out which owners will be billed for one unit, single family versus 2 units, excuse me, duplex per the ordinance guidelines. So that's what we need to do. We had a little bit of work between now and
I
the
was gonna say,
business
it's a
meeting.
lot of work. Yeah, okay.
We're gonna make a resolution for next,
I'll have it prepared and we'll get it on the agenda.
thank you.
Thank you.
Next thing is utilizing Keystone Collections for garbage bills and health and safety fee.
I thought we already agreed to that.
We
Yeah,
just
we already
talked
did
about
that.
that.
Yeah.
Well, I thought the last we talked about it was getting the price from county hauling. We
Okay,
didn't agree to that yet.
so what we'll do is we'll get the price from county hauling. And then between now and the regular business meeting, we can follow up with Keystone and get them on board.
We're gonna have to table that for now.
Well, it's just a discussion item right now.
Oh, okay. Number 5, the new sign, welcome signs. As you heard in the beginning of the meeting, Jeff Peppers was here, talked about the signs, painting painting the back of the south sign, not the post, a dark brown. Number 2, approve Auger Electric adding an uplight to the south sign, use existing wiring and connections. His proposal will be available, and we have it here. And number 3 on that is to approve the Verona Garden Club to landscape the north sign coming from Oakmont. No details available at this time.
I have a question about the uplight. As the mayor said, the sign down here by Off the Rails Barbecue, used to have a light.
That's the one they're talking about.
Yeah, but they gave us a $1,700 estimate.
To put
Well,
light
that's
on.
why I was questioning
Well, they have to
Dave.
plug it
It's
in.
still there.
Well, like the mayor said, there's a light that exists there. It might just need a new bulb.
Well, I think
$1,700.
It is an old light. It's an old unit. It should be updated to an LED to save on energy. So I don't know
1,700
what,
seems very,
Not 1,700
very
bucks.
high.
well,
amount.
that's a discussion for the board, but yeah, it should be updated to an LED. There is power already there.
That's the only concern I want to raise is at this time, I don't think the borough has $1,700 to.
If anybody wants to, I mean, you're well within the bid thresholds that you don't need even quotes. So if anybody wants to look around and, you know, see if somebody would be willing to do it for cheaper or even donate that service.
Or has the DPW looked at the current light and evaluated the condition of it? Or if it is even an LED light or what kind of light it is?
I don't think it's LED. I'm
I would
almost
doubt it's
positive.
LED.
I think it would be beneficial for DPW to take a look at it, give us an assessment of what they think. The council agrees with that. They might say, hey, this light's in good shape. So
I can't see a light head. I can't see a light head being 17 or 17.
that's what I
Well,
would,
that's not what the light head is here, but
yeah, but I know there's labor and stuff in there, but I would exhaust every other possibility before we just dish out $1,700. My opinion,
That seems like a good first step.
especially if like the existing light just needs a bulb. We might be able to put new lights in next year or 2 years.
Right.
Use it till it doesn't work anymore,
I agree.
especially at this point.
So we'll talk to DPW and see what their thoughts is.
Okay.
Is that okay with everybody?
That sounds good to me.
Who is going to talk to them?
I can. Pardon me?
Is he gonna start trouble?
Let's have one meeting here, please. Thank you. The next thing, number 6, is a name for the community garden. Possible motion to adopt a new name.
Mr. President, do you mind if we also touch quickly on if anyone has an issue with the landscaping?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we just went over all 3. We can go back, absolutely.
Just making sure that no one has an issue with the landscaping. And I wasn't sure if we sorted out the painting portion of the request.
That's the Oakmont side.
Both. Oh, the landscape is on the open one.
Yes.
I thought you were talking about painting.
Well, I'm glad you said that because it actually says the painting is just on the south.
They both need painting, because you could see as you go into Oakmont, the backside. it
Do you
does
think,
look like
do you think
that.
the painting the mustard looks that bad? We go paint it and then we're gonna have to paint it all the
Well, you
time?
could see the bolts and the washers. You
Yes.
know, the chrome.
They're
you
very
know,
ugly. There's like 35.
It's like
bolts.
somebody, got a rapid fire.
I can elaborate because I actually went to the Oakmont sign on the Oakmont side. And it's accessible. It's not dangerous. You could park in the parking lot and cross the railroad tracks and walk over to see it. So you don't have to worry about being in traffic or anything. But me, Timothy Long and Jennifer Kuhn, I believe, went and inspected the sign to take measurements because we were approached by the garden club as possibly planting around it. That sign might not need painted because the plan would be to plant small plants in front of it and like 4 or 5 foot plants behind it. So the plants that grow behind it would cover the back of the sign. So we could save money there with not having to paint that sign. But I agree with you, Mayor. I've seen it. There's like 30 to 50 little silver screws sticking out of bright yellow, what looks to be plastic or metal. So we probably right now would only need to look at painting the one sign because the other sign potentially would be covered by vegetation. So And if we are, my suggestion is if we're gonna get DPW to look at the uplight at that location, they could also maybe get us a quote or just look at how many hours or what type of paint would be needed to paint that sign, since they're gonna be on location also.
You might have paint in there.
So just ask them their
Recommendations.
recommendations on both. Kill two birds with one stone, since they're already there.
Trish and I will get together on a lot of this stuff since it's gonna be new. We'll figure out what we're gonna do in the next couple of
I
days.
would recommend holding off on the Oakmont sign until we figure out what kind of vegetation is gonna be there, because we might paint it for no reason, waste money.
If we put some kind of grass in there that grows.
Like
5
4 or
foot
5
tall,
feet tall,
you're
yes.
not gonna
That's
see the
what,
back of the
that's been
sign anyway.
discussed.
So what we're all in agreement with, and what you all are all in agreement with, is moving forward with the landscape on the north side,
On the sign down across from Daly's, yes.
right, on the Oakland side,
To let the Verona Garden Club.
right?
I'm in agreement with that.
So in terms of the painting, it says here to paint the back of the south sign, which is the Oakmont.
No,
Oh,
that's the-
no,
that's
right.
the
So
Penn Hill
that's,
side.
yeah. So, but it says not the post, just the back.
Yeah, you
Yeah, you
can't
don't wanna
paint the
paint
posts
the-
yet because they're treated wood. You can't paint treated wood, it'll rot. You can stain it, but you also should let it weather for a year or two before you stain it.
Okay, so if we find out that the grasses are gonna be tall enough on the other one, then don't bother. But it would have to grow all the way up to the
It's
top
still
of
not
the
good.
sign.
I mean, how much can they use on the back of that sign? A couple rollers or, you know,
Yeah.
not gonna be that much paint.
Yeah.
Just if they're gonna do it, they may as well do them both.
Well, that's what I was wondering.
A lot
Actually,
of native grasses grow to be 4 or 5 feet
yeah,
tall, so.
but
Yeah, but it
But the
takes a
problem
while.
that they'll grow each year like that, but every year you have to cut them down. So in the
Start
time
over.
period that they're growing, you're gonna have the back of that sign exposed.
Yes. So why not do both?
So we're all in agreement with painting the back of both signs, having DPW look at that. We're all in agreement with the light talking to DPW, and we're all in agreement with the garden club doing the landscaping
On the Oakmont side.
on the Oakmont side, yes. Because they don't want to get involved with Resnick or,
That might be at a later date,
Yeah.
but we have to, if we're already paying for Resnick to do the landscaping, we should get them to do all the landscaping we're paying for. And it's already in this year's contract, so it just makes sense.
okay. Number 6, naming for the community garden. Possible motion to adopt a new name. I know that lady was here last month,
Nina Monroe.
Mrs. Monroe, and she wanted to name it in memory of or something. I'm not really sure.
No, she
She
wanted,
wanted to make
she
sure it
wanted it to
contained the
say
words,
family.
right,
Family, yeah.
Monroe
Okay.
family. And that was sort of promised to her when they first agreed to
Very first.
work with us on the eminent domain so that we could not go through the vacant property recovery program and really speed up the process.
I'm fine with Verona Community Garden, the Monroe family location. That is what the rec board recommended at the last meeting, minus the word family. They recommended Verona Community Garden, the Monroe location. And she asked if we could add family.
So are you making that in the form of a motion?
Yes.
Second.
I'll second that.
So it's-
First by Vince, second by Trish. Any question? I mean, any question?
Yeah, so you're gonna drop basically family like she had asked.
No,
No.
we're
Oh,
adding
you're
family.
adding family,
It's gonna
okay.
say the Monroe family location.
It'll say Verona Community
Okay,
Garden,
yeah.
Monroe Family
That
Location.
way it alludes to that's where their family homestead was. That was where their family was located.
Any other questions? All in favor?
I,
Against? Pass. Number 7, parking on East Railroad, dead end. David?
Yes, Mrs. Amy Paluso was here in regards to the parking that, the signs we put up no parking, so Avalotis can get in. And she was in touch with me and she wanted to know if the borough has, any answers for her. And I told her we have a meeting tonight and I would bring it up to the board.
I was gonna suggest, if nothing else, have our engineer get down and look at it and see if we can even do that. See if it's enough. Yeah, I mean, there gotta be specs for where you can put signs in that.
Aren't the signs already there?
We already put the signs
You
up.
put
They're
the
already
signs-
up.
The council approved the signs 2 months ago.
Okay,
I have a question, because I was,
Take them back down.
what they said last week, it didn't seem right. They mentioned that, they've been here for so many years, and Avalotis has only been here since the 90s, and they put their fence up crooked. Wasn't that fence up when the steel mill was there? I believe I moved here in like 1983, and that fence was there then. So I believe that fence has been up for a long time. I don't think Avalotis put that fence in. That's what I'm trying to say. So
if you did put a new one up, it's a new one.
from when I was a kid, there was always a fence there. That's where they used to haul the coal trucks out of and stuff when there was actually a steel mill working there. Because there's a little where the train veers off right there and there's train tracks. That's why the fence is crooked. And that's where the steel mills used to get their stuff delivered. So it was alluded to that it kind of made it seem like Avalotis moved there in 93 and then put that fence up. And I just want to make sure that I don't think that's the case.
If I can make a suggestion between now and the next meeting, if all the council people can go down and just, take a drive down there, maybe look at the situation, because maybe some of you don't know exactly, what they're talking about.
Mhm.
And, then make a decision.
The signs were put up though, right?
I believe they were.
I think that's what she was saying.
Yeah, they're up.
Yeah. That's all I have on that.
Well, that's a good thought, Dave, Mayor. Does everybody take a ride down? We can, if we have to
Just
address
so you
it.
get an idea of what it looks like, what she's talking about, maybe if you have a clearer picture, either yes or no. It's just my thought. And on item 8, number 8, Mrs. I believe it is Exigna, if I'm saying that right.
Nzinga.
Yeah. She talked about the senior citizen tax adjustment. She brought that up once before with previous councils. So it's another thing that the board needs to, discuss or look into.
I believe that's been brought up for
Budget.
a long year of many years. It's been brought up.
I was gonna say, I think, yeah, with the budget talks, we'll probably be
Oh,
looking
yeah,
at that.
And on number 9, Ray, if I may, Mr. President.
Absolutely.
I believe it was Kelly Rodriguez. She texted me. She is not feeling well. And she asked me if I'd bring up the Spay-a-thon approval to use the parking lot and access to water.
What parking lot?
You know what? I'm not sure. I got home late and I seen her text as I, was here for the exec session. She may be on.
I think it was this one.
Christine's project status report also mentions the Spay-a-thon. It doesn't provide a whole lot of information. It just says, I was working with Kelly Rodriguez about a Spay-a-thon. She would handle all the logistics, but would just need council approval to use the parking lot and to provide access to water and such. I gotta believe she's
I would
talking
believe
about
it's
this
just
one.
parking
Yeah,
lot.
we do have water over there by the gazebo.
Cribs doesn't have a parking lot and Railroad, and
Right.
this is the only place that. I spoke with her off the record about it a little bit, but I assumed she was talking about this
Yeah.
parking lot and having access to the bathrooms.
Like I said, I didn't get a chance to call her back. I was running late.
I'm definitely in favor of it. I would just want to know when, time, et cetera.
You want to get more information from Kelly and get it on the agenda for the regular meeting?
Yes, that sounds perfect.
Is the mayor doing that or?
But I could text her after a while to call Don here for more information. And the only last thing is I will not be here at the next meeting. I'll be out of town all week.
Question. Back to the Spathon, when does she want to do this? Does
That's what,
anybody know?
that's what they just said. The mayor's gonna call and get a hold of her and get the information. Call or text.
Yeah, I'll text her.
I think we have this thing in our packet.
Yeah.
To reiterate why we need this done, and how quickly they
Yeah.
produce and what happens and how many cats it produces.
Okay. Next thing is number 10, tree trimming quotes. J.R. Ritchie. Okay, we got, it looks like we got 1, 2, 3, 3 quotes, 4 quotes on tree trimming.
One's a verbal, correct?
Yes, the last page is a verbal from Rich.
Does anyone know if they're all certified arborists?
First one is.
Well, I'm skeptical of the verbal code already.
Yes, because it doesn't tell you what you're doing or
Doesn't
not
tell you
doing.
the services provided, or,
And it's pretty high.
yeah, it doesn't tell you if they're insured, doesn't tell you.
Look, Davy Tree Services, a very large company.
Yeah.
The more likely they would be certified because they're nationwide, I believe.
Yeah.
Wait a minute,
Just to throw that out there.
Carl's tree service estimate is $38,000.
Well, we're not doing that.
What's he doing the whole time?
Does anybody know if anybody went along with these people to tell them what we wanted done,
I mean, there's a map on a couple of them
right?
in the back, but
Just
it doesn't specify what trees.
I mean, one bid goes from, and then another one's 4 times that.
Davies does say trained arborist.
And trained and licensed though are 2 different things. That's.
Does anyone know if the Shade Tree Commission had a chance to review the proposal?
What's that, Trish?
Does anyone know if the Shade Tree Commission had a chance to review the proposal?
I have no idea. I just saw this tonight.
I would assume that we, I would recommend that we submit these to the Shade Tree Commission and ask them their advice.
Agreed.
They might, they're a little more specialized than this, and they might see a red flag that we might miss. Just for an extra set of eyes to look on these.
That's a good question. Whoever brought up that, I don't know if it was Ray or Vince, who went around with them, because
Yeah.
like West Railroad, East Railroad, I don't think I see it on here. The trees are hanging low, the branches.
And I'd mentioned to Christine before, there's 2 or 3 trees that are growing up into the LED lights and cribs now, and they're gonna need trim. Because they're blocking the the light. for The stadium lights to work. We just had them installed 3 years ago, so we
Carlos is an arborist too.
keep them trimmed, so we don't have branches growing up into the brand new LED lights that we have.
We give this to the Shade Tree Commission. Do we eradicate the numbers off here or no?
I don't think. Public knowledge, right?
Okay.
If we approve.
Yeah, we're
it-
not putting it out for bid. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and if we approve it, we're gonna have to approve what the amount is in public anyway, so.
I agree.
Right, I mean, do we have to censor the numbers on these bids? If we send it to Shade Tree Commission?
For the shaky, you don't have to. I mean, they're an arm of the borough.
I just want to make sure legally we don't have to. Thank you.
Right. They're actually a borough commission.
Yeah,
So is that the will of everybody to turn it over to Shade Tree?
That way we can make a more informed decision.
Okay.
Mr. President, if I
Yes.
may, going back to Ms. Rodriguez. She said she met with the secretary and she has all the information. So apparently we have to get in touch. I don't know if she meant Christine or.
That's who she
Sheree.
meant.
Okay. And she was supposed to notify the board about it.
Well, she did, but she only wrote those 2 sentences.
Right, right.
Well, you just maybe text her and tell her, can you say, can you give us the times and dates and in what parking lot?
Yep.
If you would. That way we can. Moving on. Number 11 is glass recycling. Glass recycling. Anybody, who put this on here? Does anybody know?
If you look in your packet, there's a summary of some of the items off of Christine.
Is that what she's doing? Okay,
And Teresa made this up to
yes,
summarize.
okay,
There was
Okay.
just a list of things in Christine's things, so
I see
Teresa
it now.
put them on that.
so this is what Christine had written. I've been working with Assistant Manager Phyllis in Oakmont on a possible permanent glass recycling program. This would be for 2023. If it makes it into the budget as something that is important to fund, there would also be revenues from this as we would share the tonnage with Oakmont. But the site, if Rivertown Associates agrees to it, would draw people from Penn Hills, Oakmont, and Verona, possibly in other areas. So I guess they're trying to put it down in the Giant Eagle Plaza if Rivertown Associates agrees to it. So we're gonna probably have to get a hold of, I guess, Phyllis and see if there's any movement on that. Correct, Craig?
Yes,
Well, don't we need to talk to Rivertown Associates and see if they're okay with it before we worry about anything
and
else?
I told Christine I would try to find out who the ownership folks are for Rivertown Associates, and I'm still working on that.
Isn't it China Eagle?
I don't know that it is.
I might be able to find out through one of our guys.
Is it Echo?
Yeah, Echo.
It might be.
I thought it
I
was-
think it is Echo.
Echo's a Giant Eagle arm.
Yeah,
I think it is Echo.
Do have a contact if you want for Echo,
sure.
but perhaps Phyllis reached out.
Okay.
Perhaps Phyllis from Oakmont reached out since it would be a multi-municipality.
That's what I was wondering.
So maybe we should touch base with her first. I think that's something that really would tie more into the budget discussion.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll get a hold of Phyllis and see where it stands with her. And then if we have to call Echo or whatever and try to get some info.
Right. Who's reaching out to Phyllis?
I can reach out to her.
Okay, I don't mind either. I didn't know if Craig
We'll
was.
sit down and go over this
I'd be
list.
happy to. If they give me the contact.
Okay, Craig can. We'll sit down and go over this list and what we have to do. Number 12, and lastly, cleaning company. I guess the contract must be coming close to being,
We have this.
yeah.
From what I understand from Teresa is the people we have are not as
Here's what Christine wrote.
clean as we would like them to be, and these people are a lot less expensive.
Do we have a contract with these people? We still have a contract with this lady.
I don't know what the status is.
We do have a contract with Kirkman. I can't remember. I think it might be for you.
Yeah, I don't remember either, but I'm sure there's a termination clause in there. Christine wrote in her project summary, Kirkman has been less than ideal with cleaning for the past few months, as well as having some issues with billing. I got a quote from another company and it's about half as much. They're not a mom and pop, but the price is good, better.
think we need to look into the contract first, right?
We'll look into the contract. I have it on my system.
Okay. You'll look into that then, Mr. Solicitor?
Yes.
Thank you.
I've had some experience with Coverall also. They're a very reputable company.
Oh, yeah.
They clean hospitals and stuff, medical facilities, so their standards are set pretty high.
Is that the quote that Christine received?
This Coverall quote here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before we move on, I had written an email about a couple of things. One being that I think we need to decide about what we're gonna do for our November business meeting, because that's election day. So we can't have our meeting on the second Tuesday of the month. But because it's a 5 Tuesday month, we could have it on the 15th. Just ask the chamber to either have their meeting earlier or have it on the 22nd.
That shouldn't be a problem with the chamber.
Yeah. I just thought it would be important for us to decide about that. So that there's time. Do we have to like put in an advertisement? We're changing that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we want to have time to do that.
I'm fine with the second Tuesday.
Well, that would be the
No.
third
I mean,
Tuesday.
the third
Right,
Tuesday.
right.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
I would not be available, so I would have to have somebody from my office attend that night.
So on 11, have it on the 15th, the third Tuesday,
Yes.
and then ask the chamber to do something else.
Mr. Mayor, you will talk to the chambers.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
I know it's not on here, but maybe something to think about. We have to think about what we're gonna do with the sewer fee. Correct? So just people keep that in mind. I don't know how to go about doing that, but I just know it's something we have to figure out. And I just wanted to say that the community picnic on Saturday was really wonderful, great event. Thank you to the community group, all of them. I'm not gonna say their names because I'll forget somebody. But the whole community group board was there and I just think it was a great event that was started last year during the 150th. And it looks like it could be a nice annual event for the town to have this community picnic.
Mr. President, if I may as well, I have one other informational item. I was asked to relay to council an exciting update regarding the LOP Trail. That's the Verona Oakmont Plum and Penn Hills project that we've been hearing about for some time. The group was awarded a $1.17 million grant to continue with the work for their trail development. So
Awesome.
good news.
No matching.
Details to come.
Thanks, Trish.
Mr. President, I'm sorry, one that just came to my mind. With the Port Authority, if you see buses going up Center Avenue to Second Street, PennDOT is paving from Second Street to, I believe, Salzburg Road, Verona Road. And that's why they were actually coming past the school.
I was there yesterday when they came
I
out. past the
followed
school.
one down. I actually turned around because somebody had told me that they were coming past the school and he was flying by the school. And I put a stop to that immediately. So they were.
The chief said he called Port Authority.
He called down. I told him to call Port Authority. They changed the route to Second Street to Center Avenue.
I'm wondering if we don't get a hold of Matt and maybe get him to get a couple signs, buses detour or something this way.
Well, he said the Port Authority was supposed to do, put temporary stops
Okay.
up and things like that. So I just want to let the residents know. That's why you're seeing buses, because no other traffic's supposed to be on our road. I denied PennDOT from access and trailers, tractor trailers and
Yeah, we
what
don't
have
need
you in our residential area. I didn't even want the buses in there, but for some reason they said they can't make the bend at Second and Wildwood, at the triangle there.
Is there a time element?
I heard on the news this morning, it's gonna be about a month So if it rains in between there, it's gonna be,
When they
you know,
actually,
4 to 6 weeks.
that closure at Second actually got delayed till next month again. I mean, next week.
Next week.
Yeah, the third.
October
Yeah.
8th. Or
I
October
thought it said the
3rd.
third, but
Third.
regardless,
Yeah.
that's why you see buses on South Avenue.
I followed one down right past the school and it was just when the kiddies were getting let
Yeah.
out. I was like,
And they were
"Oh."
scraping at the bottom, their toe.
Did
on.
they?
Yeah, because they, and then they were tying traffic up because they had to wait for the cars.
I can hear this crossing guard down there, not on my corner.
Billy,
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Ray, I also.
Yes, sir.
want to add something. 2 Sundays ago, on the 18th of September, the concession stand, we were out running football, and the concession stand was inspected by the health department.
Good.
We passed.
Beautiful.
We were told, though, that there is no raw meat other than hot dogs allowed on the property. If the health department comes and there is uncooked hamburgers, chicken, pork, even being held in the refrigerators, the borough will be cited. Fine. Because we do not have a 3-bin sink in that building. And if you're gonna handle raw meat, according to the health department, you have to have a wash tub, a rinse tub, and a sanitary tub, sanitizing tub.
Does that mean for anybody that rents it too?
Renting is a little different.
Okay,
If you rent it for a private party, like a birthday party, then it's normal rules.
okay.
But if we run, if Parks and Rec runs wrestling, all raw meat needs to be prepared off-site, brought to the site, and held in chafing dishes. It cannot, there's no raw meat allowed on site. So if
And
you
you
have a
should
big
get
event
signed
like
with-
Botany and Booze, or like the Verona Community Picnic, you can have the food catered and held warm. You just are not allowed to bring raw meat other than hot dogs, because they're pre-cooked, to the site.
Maybe we can get a sign made and put up.
Well, it just needs to be on the application.
Right.
It needs to be updated. When people rent the park, that needs to be a question that's asked. Is this a private event or is this open to the public? Are you charging for food? Are you giving away food to people for free to people? Because if someone gets sick, it will come back to us,
No
since
doubt.
the health department has told us about it.
Very good.
So I just wanted to let everybody know it just recently happened. And we need to address it.
Is that, do you have a certificate from the health department?
They, Tim was there and he's safe certified. So the inspection went over very well because of that. And they emailed all the stuff to Christine, but Tim told them we're in a transition period. They also emailed him the stuff, and then he forwarded to admin at Verona Park. So Teresa has it.
Maybe we can make a copy of that and put it up.
We didn't get the certificate
Right.
yet. Ours is up in November. It'll take about a month to get it. So middle of October, we should get the certificate. But I have the report here if anybody wants to look
Very
at
good.
it. Or I can email it to you.
Very good.
And the
Thank
admin has it also.
you. Very good. Thank you, guys. Anything else? Newsletter, Sylvia?
Yes, sir. Thank you. We're presently working on the newsletter, and it's the winter holiday issue. And that's going to cover December, January, and February. And articles and the ads are going to be due Tuesday, November 1st. And since this is such a busy time of year, we ask that you please get your ads and articles in very, very early. Chamber of Commerce, the next meeting will be held here in the Borough Building on Tuesday, October the 18th, 7 p.m. And we're going to be stuffing the trick or treat Halloween bags that night too, after the meeting. And the parade's going to be on Saturday, October 29th at 11 a.m. here on the Boulevard. And the trick or treat night will be Monday, October 31st from 6 to 8 p.m. Verona Historical Society, the meeting is going to be held on Thursday, October 20th at 7 p.m. here in the Borough Building. And the guest speaker is going to be Gary Rogers from the Oakmont Historical Society, and he will be presenting on the history of the Verona Oakmont Cemetery. And these meetings are open to the public, free of charge, and they're always very, very interesting. So we extend an invitation to everyone. Twin Borough Ministries, the community dinner will be held tomorrow from 4:30 to 6:30, and it will be hosted by the Oakmont Methodist Church. And starting next month, they are hoping to have soup because the weather will be a lot cooler. And ALOM called me and asked that I announce that the fall conference in Erie, Pennsylvania will be October 21 through the 23rd. And the deadline to join is on October 7th. And if you have any questions, excuse me, you can call the ALOM office at 412-261-2521. Are there any other questions or comments?
So you mentioned about the Halloween parade. That's just the one where the kids walk around the
Around the
boulevard,
boulevard?
on the sidewalk.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes. If there are no questions or comments, then this concludes my reports. And I thank you very much.
2022 GETF grant.
Oh, yes, thank you. We're working on that now, and hopefully next meeting we'll have some information on that.
Matt wrote us an email. on the GDPF grant, I think.
Yes.
That's what he told me when I spoke with him today.
Yeah.
We applied for the sanitary sewer application.
Yeah.
And the road reconstruction application.
Did we get that today?
Um,
No.
23rd.
You know, it's a couple.
This was 4
I got
days
one the
ago.
other day. He was asking us opinions.
Yeah, but this is from 4 days. We haven't passed the resolutions yet, so we still have the chance to withdraw one of the applications. Attached are the 2 cost estimates for the projects. So next meeting, we need to pass a resolution, I think is what he's saying.
Very good. Thank you. This time, we'll comments from the public. Council will hear your comments on public at this time. Please approach the podium and raise your virtual hand. Clearly state your name and address and limit your comments to 3 minutes, please.
On any topic of public concern.
Jim Ashbaugh, 467 North Avenue. For clarification on my purposes only, the health and safety fees, is that $5 per month or per billing period?
Per quarter is what we
quarter.
clarified.
Per
Per
month.
quarter? Thank you.
Per month.
Per month.
Per month?
It's per month.
Yes, I thought it was per quarter we talked about the last meeting.
I thought it was per quarter too we talked about.
But we added it up. It was like $5 per month, so 20 per quarter.
Yeah, it's per quarter, is what I recall.
No, it'd be 15 per quarter. There's 3 months.
It'd be basically what, $60 a year.
So basically what you're doing is having $60 of tax on my already, but
I'm not.
you're on council, you voted for it. Don't tell me you're not. It's not funny.
Well, you're staring at me.
Well, you said I'm not, and you voted for it. So don't tell me you're not. So that's basically what I'm hearing. You're adding $60 a tax per year on my tax, already tax burden. Thank you.
Sandy Drabicki Bell, 619 Third Avenue. I'd like to know if this health and safety fee is something mandated by the state or fabricated by council.
Good evening, Angela Acapini, 521 Center Avenue, Vice President of the Garden Club. I emailed everybody late last night. I apologize for the late email. Got a lot going on with Mom. We need to have about 6 of the hanging baskets taken down. They're starting to die. So I was wondering if we could make arrangements to have 6 of them taken down and then the rest of them by the 3rd week of October. Okay. And then when they are taken down, if you'll just contact me, I'll make arrangements to pick them up and take them to Michael Brothers is going to store them for us.
Good.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't know who to contact because I don't know who's in charge of.
Well, Is everybody okay if we take the 6, have DPW take the 6 down?
Yeah, I mean, that's in the contract and the resolution.
Yeah, and-
Would you be able to get with a hold of DPW to tell them which ones?
I believe she
I'm not
said that
supposed to
Oh,
get a hold of them,
okay.
but I could
Could
go
you
out and
tell us which address or
they're
whatever?
putting ribbons on them.
I'm putting pink ribbons on the dead ones that need
Okay.
to come down. We just want to try to save the remainder. The remainder still look good, so we wanted to get a few more weeks out of them, but they definitely need to be taken down by the 3rd week of October and brought out to Michael Brothers by the end of October. So, but I'll make sure that tomorrow morning I tag them, the 6 dead ones.
Who's talking to Teresa tomorrow?
I will,
So I didn't know,
Tell her
maybe
to ask DPW.
you-
to take
until
lunch
you
with
have
me.
somebody in charge, like maybe, would she be my contact?
Yeah, but we're trying not to overload her right
Oh,
now.
okay.
So
Okay.
it
Well,
might
we're
be-
trying not
it
to
might
ask,
be
we
better
try
to-
not to ask for too much, but those baskets got infected with aphoids, like little ring bugs, and it killed like 6 of them. So, and they're really unsightly. So just want to get those 6 ones taken down for now. And then the remainder on the 3rd week of October.
For the time being, it might be better to come to council. And that way council can
Yeah.
triage what's important and what's, so we don't.
Or
overwhelm
email, I
Teresa
can email
and-
you guys.
Yeah, that's fine.
email.
And
Yeah.
then we could,
Yeah, that one last night came in really late, so I didn't know if everybody got a chance to read it, but yeah, I appreciate it.
Angela,
Thank-
the baskets were gorgeous.
Oh,
They
wonderful.
were.
They were.
Even
They
the, even the planners were beautiful.
Oh, they were, and we had so many people volunteering to water those baskets this year. And nobody failed us. Everybody,
Good, good.
especially Danny Showalter.
Oh,
He
that's
was our
wonderful.
main guy.
That's
But
wonderful.
everybody took a part in that. And yeah, we were really proud of him this year. We got a lot of compliments.
It was
So,
nice.
yeah.
Thanks.
thank you.
There's go ahead. And then there's one hand up.
Kelly Collins, 736 4th Street, Verona. I would just like to say about this new tax that you guys enacted. Right now, with the cost of everything, and you know how the people are in Verona, they don't have a lot of money. There's a lot of single people. There's a lot of elderly people like my mom. I am a budgeter, and I just looked up what the gas is going to be this year. The MFC per MFC is $15.89 for gas or equitable gas right now this winter, and it will go up again in December. And you don't think that $60 is going to hurt the people of Verona right now, when everything is so tight for people with single parents, people on lunch programs. Verona is all lunch program. $60 could put supplies in a kid's backpack, lunch in a kid's belly. $60 is a lot of money, and you should all be disappointed and be embarrassed to put that tax on the people of Verona right now when you can get grants for a lot of that stuff. And it's very, very upsetting that Yins would do that right now with the height of the economy. Some Yins might not realize the economy is because Yins have money or Yins are working. But there's a lot of people getting food stamps and getting help right now because they can't afford to feed their kids. That's all I want to say.
Kelly.
Joey Warren, Vogels Lane. Thanks for your remarks earlier on my resignation. I appreciate that sentiment. Just being in the back, you heard some noise earlier. I think that for the workshop, which I've not heard yet, President Sečovic, I'd like to know when the workshops will be for budget this year. I think it's very important that you have a workshop for the community again this year. I know there are people here that don't know what millage means, and I know there's people around here that don't know how to calculate their own millage. And I'm not shaming anybody, but there's gonna be a lot of frustrated people who are going to be paying a little bit more money for the collective and the community that helps all these things happen that we need to have happen. So my suggestion is that you do have a workshop. Some of the discussion earlier was you just raised your millage 2.3 for your household and your husband's trying to figure out the math, so trying to help out the back. But for some other people, yours just went up 4.25 mils. This is assuming it's $5 a month. I don't know if that, I mean, that's what you voted on. Some people think it's quarterly. There's a lot that needs to be explained to some people that are gonna have a lot more frustration. And I'm also gonna say, I'm a counterpoint to what was just clapped for, is that I want my streets paved, I want my streets salted, and I want things to operate. So I am in favor of a lot of people doing a little bit versus not doing anything for 12 or 13 years, which we just cleaned up. So I know it's a tough decision. I know it's not gonna be easy, but as a former council member who just left, my letter of resignation was a full page long. I hope you all read it. You are in a good spot right now. But the further you get from resignations that just came through, not just for myself, but from some other people, you're getting further away from resolution to some things that you're going to be financially responsible for. They're going to be very tough. So I just ask that you please be transparent. And I would like to know those dates of the workshop meetings for the finance discussions as you do set those, because we're down to a couple of months before these are passed. My other question was, if I vote at the polling place of the church that was just sold, where will I be voting this year? Thank you.
Joey, I believe that the election is going to continue at the United Presbyterian Church.
I called down there. They're gonna keep it.
Yeah.
We have a virtual hand up, Kathy Maddox.
Hey, can you hear me? Hello?
Yep, yep.
Hi, yeah, Kathy Maddox, 234 Penn Street. Vince, I kind of got sidetracked when you were talking. I know we spoke on Saturday and about the cooking at Cribs Field. Did you say that you received some kind of documentation pertaining to this particular issue from the health department? Okay, is there any way that I can get access to that to review it myself, being someone who's involved in putting things together like this? I mean, I've looked at a couple of things online. I haven't really had much time to do it. But the couple of things I did see, and I may have been looking in the wrong place, you know, with this, you know, the regulation stuff, you never know. But it did talk about selling, and there are temporary, you know, short-term permits you can get. So we just will want to figure out ahead of time if that's legitimately something we can't do. I mean, granted, that's definitely the information you were given. I just want to maybe take a look at it.
I mean, that would be up to the admin, I guess, right? If she has the paperwork.
It's a public document at this point, so.
And I believe it's even on file with the PA Health Department.
Okay, but you were forwarded documentation or some, I don't know how the exchange went. If it's in the possession of the borough, I would just like to see it. Is there anything in particular I have to fill out to obtain that?
I mean, I don't know what the.
She just wants a copy of the
Write
letter.
it to note.
Come down to the borough office and fill out a right to note request, and they'll can it to you.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't see any more virtual hands. Oh, yeah. People were having questions about this statement, but I think that was just put in the packet for people to read.
Okay,
I have no idea what you're talking.
we don't have to address it.
Well, it's
we
not
talked-
on
we
the
talked
budget,
about that
wasn't
before
on
the
the
meeting.
agenda.
Okay,
It wasn't on the agenda.
you want to address the one other thing I mentioned to you?
Mr. Vicky Bell requested whether the health and safety fee was state mandated. It's not state mandated, it's a borough ordinance to generate fees to help assist with like the garbage collection and things like that for the betterment of the community. My understanding is it is not mandated by the state. It was no, it's public comments over. It was modeled after I believe 3 other local municipalities that have similar ordinances. One was Homestead. I don't remember where the 2 other ones were.
So if I may add, these are many nuisance problems in the borough that we have tried again and again to get grant money to fix, that we have been unsuccessful at least more than once, and are also things that are highly brought up in public meetings as an issue for residents and a concern due to health and safety reasons, and that inevitably, due to limited grant funding, we do end up paying through your tax dollars for. So this is a way to better plan for those expenses going forward, and no, none of us are happy about a tax increase, I can assure you.
Anything else? Nobody else? Take a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? we have a second?
Sylvia seconded.
Sylvia, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? So moved.
Is this public still? Because I'm getting comments from the back. We adjourned, President.
We're adjourned.
Can you call the police chief, please? Thank you. Call the police chief. Run away.